Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Peter, and you're tuning into the sound of the city. And I'm coming from beautiful San Diego, California, America's finest city. Thank you so very much for sticking with me for all these episodes. I know it has not been easy. This will be the final one, and I want to talk about life, and I want to talk about staying alive and what you could do, at least how I do it. I'm offering suggestions. I am not an authority on suicide prevention. I am not an expert on mental health. Go to a professional, a psychiatrist, a social worker. They will help you. My life today is a lot different than it had been previously. It's a lot better. I appreciate things more. Life is a miracle upon miracles upon miracles. I look at nature a lot differently. I look at all life as precious. You know, there'll be a fly in my kitchen flying around, and occasionally I have to get the fly swatter out, and it pains me because who am I to take the life of another living being? But sometimes you just have to do that. We have to do a certain amount of that to survive. Of course, with bacteria and the like, that's understandable. But life in general is so precious. And as far as we know, as far as modern science has been able to reveal, Earth is the only place in the universe where life exists. If it came out tomorrow in the news that life was discovered on another planet or another solar system, that would be mind boggling. It would be fantastic. It would be great. But my life today, check this out. I don't hate anybody. I don't have a grudge against people. I have not one enemy, at least that I know about. And I prefer it that way, because that's not the way my life used to be. I take things into perspective now. I have a supportive family. I live with my folks, and I enjoy it, and I prefer it. You know, I could go up to my father, look him in the eye, and tell him I love him. Do you know how powerful that is? Do you know how difficult that is for a lot of men? And I have that luxury. Pardon me for getting emotional, but it means the world to me. I have evolved since trying to commit suicide that last time, and my perspectives have changed. But that has not occurred overnight. It has been the result of a lot of hard work. When you attempt suicide and you survive, you are then in post suicide attempt recovery. And you are going to be in recovery for good, at least if you're willing to engage with it. I went through life without post suicidal recovery, and it was terrible. And now I'm living my life with some post suicidal attempt recovery, and I have more direction, I have more confidence. I know what to do when things get bad. Just because I survived a suicide, just because I made all those attempts, it doesn't mean I still don't have thoughts. Every day, it's cinematic. It's like a Cecil B. DeMille movie in my mind of me jumping off that building and hearing that man go, "Are you gonna jump?" It goes through my mind and it echoes over and over again, but I manage it. I think of the other attempts. I think of that cold steel against my ear, pressing as I was shaking. If you don't think about things like that after you've tried committing suicide, maybe you're not human. It is completely realistic to have suicidal thoughts after you've attempted to commit suicide. Suicidal ideation is different. Formulating a plan, that's different. That's illness. It's very important that you get a relationship, and I mean a relationship, not just visiting them once a year, a relationship with a psychiatrist and other health professionals. Your personal attending physician could guide you. There are social workers who could point out to you resources within the community that will be helpful for you to help you stay alive. It's beyond the scope of this video for me to point out each resource that is available. I will say that I am surprised that there are not more venues available for people who have attempted suicide. One example is a support group. I've been looking for a support group now for months, and I haven't been able to find one. Support groups are great. That's how AA and AA is run. You have camaraderie, you have relatability, you hear stories from other people. You realize that you're not alone. Excuse me. I could go on and on. The main thing is knowing that number 1-800-273-8255, the Suicide Prevention Hotline. If you have questions about something related to suicide or resources, you could call them. I don't know if it's a good thing to tie up that number, but they could put you in the right direction, even if you're not suicidal. If things are really bad, once again, you need to get that phone call 911. For me, I have a safety plan. It's on paper. What do I do when I have anxiety that exceeds my ability to cope with it? What do I do when I have suicidal thoughts? What do I notice about myself that is different? I went through a period about 6 months ago where I was having suicidal thoughts. I was thinking about my past, and I wasn't washing up. I wasn't shaving. I looked like a homeless guy. I wasn't communicating with my family. And it scared them. It scared me, and I had to be honest. And I had to call the psychiatrist's office and say, look, this is what's happening. This is what I'm going through. I need your help. Luckily, I wasn't suicidal, and this was something that I was able to manage with my psychiatrist in a few visits. But be mindful of your behavior. Your behavior could progress so quickly. At least that's the way it is for me. But now I'm mindful of it. And you know what? Everybody in my family knows about my situation, and I prefer it that way because it adds accountability. I have an aunt and uncle up north that I could call any time that I feel comfortable with. They're like my second parents. I'm lucky to have that. I could talk to my own parents about suicide openly. There is a myth. There are actually a plethora of myths regarding suicide. And I'm not going to go through all of them. But the one that sticks out to me the most, two of them stick out to me, is talking about suicide will increase the chance of causing a suicide. That's not true. That is a myth. Talking about suicide will help somebody work through their suicidal thoughts. The other myth that is significant is somebody might be bringing up suicide to get attention. No. If somebody brings up suicide, take it seriously. As seriously as you would anything else. Like somebody having chest pain, somebody having symptoms of stroke is real. Attend to it like it's real until you know otherwise. That could be the difference between life and death for that person. But it all boils down to how honest you're willing to be with other people and how honest you're willing to be with yourself. And that's pretty much it. I think if I go much further, I will be rambling. And you have heard enough from me. This is the 9th episode. This has gone on maybe 3 episodes longer than I initially anticipated. I'm not doing this for notoriety. I'm not doing this for sympathy. I am a loner. I do not want attention. I am an introvert. Please leave me alone. But that's my position. I'm not here for likes, dislikes. I am interested in your comments. Of course, I do need that feedback. But as far as merchandise goes, if you want a t-shirt, go somewhere else and buy a t-shirt. This series is put together to map out the reality of suicide, the reality of suicide attempt. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. And I hope I helped you. My arms reach out, my hands extend, and I want to pull you off that ground. Please. Thank you so very much.